In a quiet village at the foot of a mountain, there stood an old temple hidden beneath a grove of bamboo. The temple was not known for its grandeur or size, but for the presence of an elderly monk who lived there. People called him Master Tranquil Sound, not because he spoke often, but because when he did, his words carried the stillness of a bell's echo, gentle, yet deeply moving. Villagers often came to him for guidance. Some were troubled by love and loss, others by greed and ambition. Yet what amazed them most was that the monk rarely gave long explanations. Instead, he offered them something else, an atmosphere of silence. And strangely, within that silence, many found the answers they had been seeking. The restless young man. One day, a young merchant came to visit. He was successful in trade, his days filled with counting profits and negotiating deals. Outwardly, he had wealth, but inside, his heart was restless. Nights brought no peace. Even in sleep, his mind was crowded with worries. He bowed before the monk and said, "Master, I have tried everything to find peace. I have walked in the fields, drunk with friends, listened to music as loud as I could. But when I returned home, the turmoil returned even stronger. Please, give me some teaching that can free me from this suffering." The monk looked at him quietly. Without a word, he gestured for the young man to sit down. The courtyard of the temple was calm. A breeze passed through the bamboo grove, creating a soft rustling sound, like whispers of the forest. Far away, a bird called, then disappeared into the distance. The monk sat motionless, eyes half closed, his breath flowing like a gentle stream. The young merchant waited, growing uneasy. He had come for advice, but all he met was silence. The moment stretched on, heavy and uncomfortable. Finally, he burst out, "Master, why do you not speak? I came here for your guidance, not to sit in silence like this." The monk slowly opened his eyes. His gaze was calm and compassionate. Then he spoke softly. "If you come only for words, silence feels unbearable. But if you learn to listen with your whole being, you will realize that silence itself is the answer." A teaching in stillness. The monk then reached into his robe and brought out a small bell. With a gentle motion, he rang it. A clear sound echoed, pure and resonant, then slowly faded into the air. After a moment, there was only silence again. "Tell me," the monk asked, "what do you hear?" "I hear the bell," the young man replied. "And now?" "Now, nothing." The monk smiled. "The sound comes and goes, but silence remains. Silence is the foundation that never leaves. Your mind is the same. Worries, fears, and desires are like the sound of the bell, rising and fading. But beneath it all, there is a silence that has always been there. If you return to it, you will find peace that cannot be disturbed." The young man sat still. For the first time, he realized he had spent his life chasing after the noise of the world, praise and blame, gain and loss, ambition and desire, without ever turning toward the silence within, returning to himself. The next day, the young merchant returned to the temple. This time, he did not rush to ask questions. He simply sat beside the monk, under the shade of the bamboo grove. He began to breathe more slowly, letting his ears take in the sound of rustling leaves, the singing of cicadas, and even the pauses between. At first, his mind wandered restlessly, like a bird fluttering in a cage. But slowly, thoughts loosened their grip, like clouds drifting across a wide sky. A quietness he had never known began to settle in. For the first time, he felt a lightness, free from the weight of constant calculation and competition. Before he left, the monk gave him only a single sentence. Carry the gift of silence with you. When the mind is restless, open it, and peace will return. The meaning of the gift. From that day on, the young man continued his work, still trading, still negotiating, still facing challenges. But within his heart, he carried something new, a refuge of silence. Whenever his mind grew stormy, he did not turn to drinking or distraction. Instead, he paused, closed his eyes, and allowed silence to embrace him, as gently as a mother cradles her child. He came to understand that silence is not escape. It is the doorway to wisdom. Silence is not emptiness. It is the foundation that allows all things to appear and pass away without clinging. Silence is not meaningless. It is the language of life itself, reminding us of the purity within our own hearts. Conclusion. The story of the monk and the young merchant is not only a tale from the past. It speaks directly to our lives today. In a world overflowing with noise, voices from work, from social media, from endless desires, we often forget the stillness that quietly waits inside us. But if even for a few moments, we stop and breathe deeply, if we allow silence to fill our being, we will discover it as a precious gift. It does not come from outside. No one else can hand it to us. It has always been here, waiting patiently within. From this silence, compassion, clarity, and peace naturally bloom. That is the gentle yet profound teaching of the old monk. Carry the gift of silence with you. When your heart is restless, open it, and peace will be there. In the rush of life, we are surrounded by endless noise, the voices of ambition, the pressure of expectations, the constant hum of worries that never seem to leave us. Yet hidden beneath all this, there exists a quiet sanctuary, a place where the heart can finally rest. This is not a distant temple or a secret path. It is the silence within us, always present, patiently waiting to be heard. Today, we invite you to journey into a timeless tale, the gift of silence, a monk's gentle teaching. It is the story of a young man burdened by restlessness, who comes to seek wisdom from an old monk. What he receives is not a lecture or a sermon, but something far more precious. A gift beyond words, a lesson carried in silence. As you listen, allow this story to guide you inward, to the stillness beneath your own thoughts, to the peace that no noise can ever take away. The story of the gift of silence reminds us that, amidst the noise of life, we do not need to search outside for peace. True calm has always been within our own hearts, waiting for us to pause and recognize it. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a doorway that leads us back to clarity and inner freedom. When we carry this gift of silence into our daily lives, even in moments of struggle and busyness, we can still hold a vast sky within our hearts. From that stillness, wisdom, compassion, and kindness naturally blossom, like flowers blooming upon the soil of peace. Thank you for listening to this story with relaxing Buddhist stories. If you found a sense of calm or insight within these words, we warmly invite you to share your reflections in the comments, so that together we may plant more seeds of silence and understanding in the world. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so you may continue walking with us on this journey of peace, wisdom, and compassion.